Hello and welcome to the table. I'm your host, Teen Wolf, and today, on this episode of the Lore Table, yes, it is back. I left because I didn't like it anymore. Now I'm back in the lore. Yep, that makes sense. I wanted to talk about March of the Machine, and I got into the story of Wilds of Eldraine and just Eldraine itself. So, we're back talking about all that. But first, we gotta talk about March of the Machine and all that lore and how the Phyrexian War ended, because kinda gotta know about that in order to talk about the rest of the story. So, as a quick recap as to what happened in Phyrexia LB1, because it has been quite a bit since I've done that stuff. Basically, a bunch of Planeswalkers went to New Phyrexia and kind of went around, tried to destroy the Realmbreaker. Basically, everybody got completed except Tyvar, Kaito, Koth, and, I always forget her name, Kaya. But, they got captured at the end, and all the other completed Planeswalkers were there like, haha, we caught you, and you're gonna die now. And Elish Norn just looked at them and said, welcome to my home, and all that creepy stuff. But at the start of March of the Machine, she's like, hey, know how powerful I am? And walk away, and don't return. Don't come back. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, but whatever. It's fine, I guess. It's strange. But, getting that out of the way, we gotta talk about, well, just the rest of the lore. All the Planeswalkers come back, and by all I mean Kaito, Kaya, Kaito, or Tyvar. I say Kaito twice. But, they came back, kind of joined up with the rest of the Planeswalkers left, like Chandra, Ren, and they're like, okay, we gotta come up with a plan to, like, defend the universe and the multiverse and all that kind of stuff. And Chandra was like, wait a minute, we gotta go back, we still gotta destroy the Realmbreaker. They just invaded the entire multiverse. Phyrexia is completing everything. We gotta destroy it at the source. We gotta destroy the invasion tree, the Realmbreaker. But everybody was like, nah, let's set up defenses. So Chandra was like, no, we gotta be the hope's beacon. We gotta light the way, the path to hope and survival and destroying Phyrexia once and for all. So she's like, Ren, you agree with me, right? You're also kind of like an angry fire girl, right? And Ren was like, yeah, sure. And so they decide to go right into the fire, right into the frying pan, head back to Phyrexia. I mean, technically neither of them have been there, but you get what I mean. They head back, and now they're gonna go and destroy the Realmbreaker, while Elish Norn is killing Shieldred, her best general, for absolutely no reason at all. And also just torturing and basically ripping all the limbs off of Urabrask. That's going on. And Chandra and Ren are storming right back into Phyrexia, meeting up with Koth, and getting ready to destroy the Realmbreaker. So while all that's going on, Elish Norn is having dreams. For some reason in my mind, I just didn't think that Phyrexians dreamed. Kind of strange. I mean, they're machines. They're like robots. They don't really dream, do they? I don't know. Maybe not Jin-Gataxias, because he's mainly machine. I mean, Elish Norn does. She's sort of fleshy. That sounds weird. Anyways, Elish Norn was dreaming, and for some reason, Ashiok planted this little thing in her head, this little nightmare, that said that this angel was gonna storm into her palace and impale her and destroy her and all of her plans. And Elish Norn just got totally freaked out over it, and she's just like now super uber paranoid, and it winds up being a pretty funny bit, because I'll get to that here in a second. You know what? Let's talk about it right now. You all know how Elspeth, like, basically blew herself up after holding the thing they were using to destroy the Realmbreaker the first time around, but it didn't work out. The thing that, like, basically was the whole point of the Brothers War being set, going back in time, figuring out how to activate it, and it was strange and it was weird, and it's like, yeah. Basically, Elspeth killed herself with this giant bomb, right? But she didn't, really. Like, if we look at Moment of Truth, once the precipice of eternity, Elspeth made it on the precipice of eternity. She's just gone in the blind eternities. Elspeth had to make a choice. And the fight would not end without her. She heard this voice in her head that was just asking her, do you want to live in the blind eternities forever, or do you want to come back anew as an Archangel? Elspeth decided to be Elspeth and come back as her true self. The Archangel of the realm. I don't know. Archangel Elspeth comes flying into the palace as Chandra and Ren and Koth and the whole Mirrodin resistance comes storming in to Elspeth's palace, Elesh Norn's palace, and basically beating her up. And Archangel Elspeth comes swooping in as all that's going on and impales, well, as Elspeth's smite says, Elesh Norn screamed as light pierced her. Her nightmare had become flesh. So that's the funny bit, that basically Ashiok gave her a little nightmare, and now she's super paranoid, and her paranoia turned out to actually be kind of just and fitting. And as all that's going on, Elspeth's like coming in, and she's ripping off her she ripped off Vorinclex's horn, chucks it at Elspeth. She takes a chunk of her throne out and chucks it over at Elspeth, and like none of it works, and it's just really funny. And Sarah, by the way, gave her all this Archangel power, and it's just like, I don't know, it's funny. But as all of that's going on, Elspeth is beating up Elesh Norn, and all the resistance being led by Koth and Melira. They're all storming into Elesh Norn's palace. And in addition to Chandra and Ren, they go over to the Realm Breaker, and Chandra is met face to face with her true love, Nissa, in a traumatic revelation. My new form must be hard to understand, is what Nissa told her, as Chandra, for the first time ever, saw her love in an absolutely terrible state. I feel bad for Nissa. She looks bad. I'm sorry, but like, you need to get some help. Like, you're bald now. You're like got this cloaky tentacle leg body. It's strange. Like, you need help. But anyways, Chandra's kind of dealing with that, and Ren's like, I'm gonna go off and destroy the Realm Breaker now. So yeah, that's happening. And it just seems like things are going well on Phyrexia, but like the whole rest of the multiverse is like being destroyed by Phyrexia, which sucks. But then Realm Breaker decides to chuck herself into the Realm Breaker. Since she does, she's connected. She's a dryad connected to trees, basically. So her whole plan with Chandra was to get Ren to the Realm Breaker, bind with the Realm Breaker, and basically blow it up from the inside out, forcing Ren to basically sacrifice herself, but she destroys the Phyrexian threat and all that good stuff. So Ren decides to do that plan, go ahead with that plan, even though she's the only one there at that point. She melds with the Realm Breaker, why her last Planeswalker is called Ren Realm Breaker, and she blows it up, basically. But as she kind of gets this extra, like, thing. She can sense certain things, and she sends a transcendent message throughout the Blind Eternities to Teferi. And Teferi, well, Ren reached out to Teferi through the Blind Eternities, and she somehow made an impossible connection with him, and basically, like, brought him back from the Blind Eternities, and how that resolves will be talked about in a bit. So Ren binds with the Realm Breaker, the whole plan came to fruition, and she destroys the Realm Breaker. The Realm Breaker gets destroyed, Ren blows herself up, but as that's happening, Phyrexia is still around. Like, all the Phyrexians are phasing out of existence in a kind of endgame style where they just fade off into nothingness. As that's going on, Teferi gets brought back from the Blind Eternities, like I was just talking about a second ago. But he brings something else with him from the Blind Eternities. Something that he phased out to the Blind Eternities a long time ago. Zao Fear. In the card Invasion of New Phyrexia, we can see these knights storming in through a giant portal, being led by Teferi, Akosa of Zao Fear. He phased his realm of Zao Fear back into existence, storming them all through with one mission: to destroy Phyrexia and take its place. Zao Fear, Teferi's home, basically, like, town or city or whatever, continent of Dominaria, is now going to basically destroy New Phyrexia, and Zao Fear is going to basically, like, pop into existence, replacing New Phyrexia. Which sucks for Koth and Malira, which their whole goal was basically, like, repairing their realm and starting anew. Now their realm is basically just being completely destroyed and they're just screwed over, but at least they get to live in Zao Fear. But Mirrodin did get avenged, as shown in the card Mirrodin Avenged, where Karn, who has done absolutely nothing throughout the story except get kidnapped and torn to pieces, lifts Elish Norn's disintegrating head into the air, saying, "You are my mistake. I will forever bear the weight of your horrors and of your end, and of Phyrexia's end, as once and for all the Phyrexian invasion war is over." Except, there's one pretty big issue left. What about all of the Planeswalkers? What about all the Planeswalkers who are still completed? Like, they don't just phase out into nothingness. They're not really a true part of Phyrexia. Fun fact, by the way. All of the, non-Phyrexians, like, basically the completed people that aren't truly Phyrexians, they basically just flopped onto the ground and died or something like that, which is horrible and terrible. But what about the Planeswalkers? The complete Planeswalkers? They just don't flop over and die, right? They're still beloved characters of Magic. They still gotta live. So, the whole idea behind it is, well, behind this, is shown in, I guess it's shown a little bit in March of the Machine, but it's mainly shown in March of the Machine Aftermath. So, the first example shown in March of the Machine is with Ajani, one of the most beloved characters in all of Magic. Like, he couldn't just die. It's Ajani. It's Ajani. What else do I need to say? Everybody loves a giant cat man. But so, in the card Negate, in the flavor text of Negate, from March of the Machine, it reads, Teferi gave them time, Karn gave them a chance, but it was Malira who paid the ultimate price to free Ajani from Phyrexia's grasp. So what happened is Karn gave up his spark to save Ajani. And with the way that it works is that one Planeswalker has to sacrifice their spark in order to save another Planeswalker from completion, which is exactly what happened to a ton of Planeswalkers. That is why so many legendary creatures that were Planeswalkers, like Tyvar, for example, or Nahiri, are no longer Planeswalkers, because they sacrificed their sparks to save their friends and their loved ones. That is the end of the Phyrexian invasion. Also a cute little bit, Chandra and Nissa walking back through the realm of Zendikar holding hands, being a couple once again, without the interference of Phyrexia, the Phyrexian War, and all that terrible stuff. But all that's over. Everybody can live happily ever after, with all the death and sorrow still haunting them forever. Now they can move on from Phyrexia and rebuild. And that concludes the Phyrexian War, and that will now begin what I just pointed out, rebuilding from the Phyrexian invasion. That is going to be the main focus for the next year or so of Magic and its sets. With Wilds of Eldraine, Caverns of Ixalan, and all the sets after that, they are going to focus on rebuilding after the Phyrexian invasion. So, with all that aside, thank you for watching, everybody. I hope that you enjoy the lore table coming back better than ever, bigger than ever, with way more lore to cover than ever. Now talking about Flesh and Blood lore as well. And with all that aside, thank you for watching, everybody. I'll be talking about Throne of Eldraine, recap to kind of get everybody, used to the whole Eldraine lore and all that kind of stuff, so we can understand the lore from Wilds of Eldraine better. But we'll be talking about that another day on the lore table. With all that aside, thank you for watching, everybody, and have a great rest of your day.